Hello, sunny sunshine. How are you? Hello, sunshine. So, welcome. My head will disappear if I move into the sun, which is probably a good thing. On the other hand, I might get a little lightheaded. So, can you hear me okay? Let's check the levels. And I'm quite comfortable speaking English now. Feel a little guilty that I'm not using my Welsh mother tongue. But we're going to compare albums today. I've got a pile of albums from the shelf downstairs. What I've done, I'll try and gather my thoughts because I don't usually arrange things like this, but I'm trying to be a little bit more focused. Let's move this here. So there we are. That's marvellous. So what I'm going to do, I've picked some records from the shelf and thought when I was tidying up, removing the plastic wrappers from the records themselves, because there's too many of them there now, and trying to conserve space. What I want to do, therefore, is when I looked at these albums, I said, oh, that's a lovely cover. And then I said, is that a classic album to myself? I said, is that a 5-star album? 90% plus. That's the criteria. Okay? Criteria. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to, shall I show you them first? Because I can't remember every one. Or shall I pit one against the other? And then we'll have a kind of not a round robin, we'll have a knockout cup competition to find out which one of those albums is the all-time 90%, 30% classic album. I think that's what I'll do. So I'm going to do it now. But the problem is I've got my feet up. The records are over there. I've got a piece of paper to make sure I know what's going on. I'm going to show you the albums first so I can get my brain into tune, and when I do pull two out I won't be surprised. So we're going to mark the covers as well. So I'm going to I'm not just giving you marks, I'm giving you assessment and dehongli in Welsh, interpretation in English. So music, they're all favourite albums of mine. A couple I had to decide whether they were traditionally good enough, but there's also a potential mark, a potential for these albums. I'm thinking of one specifically now which has inspired this category. The potential for it to increase its status. Because when I saw it, I said, oh yeah, I've realised 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, it wasn't as classic as it is now, but it still hasn't reached its potential to be a classic album. And you'll find it interesting that some of these albums will have hit that level. They would have become classic albums. And now they're beginning to wane. Is overplaying them a factor in all of that? Well, it makes for an interesting video, I think. The sun is still shining. It's lovely. So, welcome. Must I do this? Yes, I think I might as well. the sun is shining, the sky is blue, and yet there's a strong, strong wind. And there's also rainy showers. Has someone knocked my door, or is that the wind blowing? I think the wind's blowing. As I said, the door knocked. So I'm not scared of looking at these anymore. And hopefully they will show you a variety of styles and genres, although we don't use that word here, do we? No, we don't. We don't use the word genre. We don't use the word genre, because surely music is superior to genres. Do you concur? Do you concur? Do you? I'm going to bring you nearer. I'm unsettled. I know I'm unsettled. I'm not a happy bunny, actually. Too many variables this time of year. And exhaustion. Oh, back. What's going on now? You just got the news. Right, here we go. Get my whiteboard up again from the floor. It can stay there. I can move the microphone if needed for tension or excitement. So there we are. That's there, that's there. And here we go. I don't want the sun, do I? No. Close the door. Put the cushion behind me to be comfortable. Hope you're all comfortable. Cup of tea. Welcome. That's 7 minutes of nonsense. Here are the albums. Thomas Dolby, The Flat Earth, 1984. ABC, Beauty Stab, 1991, he says without a clue. What year? 86? 1983. Local hero, Mark Knopfler. I'm not allowed to discuss or say anything. No, that was about 1980. 1983. Dear. Jackie Leven, or as I used to call him, Jackie Leven. The mystery of love is greater than the mystery of death. Joni Mitchell, Dog Eat Dog. You can hear my intonation. It's one of those ones which has crept up on the inside. Again, John Anderson. Another surprise inclusion. Animation. By the way, I've not chosen the obvious classic albums, you know. There are certain albums which, of course, they survive even qualification. They go straight through to the classic bracket, don't they? Yeah? You know, we don't need to say anything else, do we? No, we don't. Good. Right. Ed Harcourt, Beyond the Sun. I'll say it again. Ed Harcourt, Beyond the End. Controversial inclusion. Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush, Tales of the Unexpected. This is like the FA Cup third round draw. How come he's got two? Frank Marino, Juggernaut. I was going to say Thunderbolt, but It's Juggernaut. Surely that shouldn't be in there. It shouldn't be in there. It's not. It's going to... Right. Max Webster should. Universal Juveniles. I was going to make an album of Canadian rock guitarists, but Sufjan Stevens isn't one of them. So there we are. We got rid of that idea. Carrie and Lowell. If I had a vinyl copy of Carrie and Lowell live, that would usurp the studio one. Rush. Grace Under Pressure. Not 2112. Oh, I'm tired. The Passions, 30,000 Feet Over China. Prefab Sprout. Swoon. Joe Perry Project. Let the Music Do the Talking. Does it get in because of its cover? You decide. Let the music. Stop it. Not allowed to say anything. Don't say a thing. The messiest inlay sleeve ever. Will it fit in the cover? No. Yes. Oh dear me, what have I done? I've brought the 12-inch single, so that automatically disqualifies Scritti Polity's Cupid and Psyche 85. Micro Disney, The Clock Comes Down the Stairs. What a fantastic cover that is, eh? I expect Thomas the Tank to come rolling in any minute. Randy Newman, Land of Dreams. Is this video a good idea? A couple of bad choices coming here, surely. Again, Prefab Sprout come in with Jordan the Comeback. It's going to be an interesting discussion. That's why, if they were all obvious classic albums, you wouldn't have an interesting discussion, would you? No. Chuck Prophet, Let Freedom Ring. It's very random, isn't it? Can't say I know it well enough to call it a classic album. China Crisis. I heard this 2 months ago. I thought it was full of promise, and the classic tracks on it were even more classic. So that's why this is being included. I've just described something. I better stop. Don't get weird on me, babe. Lloyd Cole. Not the Commotions, just Lloyd Cole. Marvellous. Marvellous. So there's a good discussion there, because that is definitely an album of two halves. Two halves. And finally, an album I only have on vinyl, and because I've been limited in my ability to play records, I don't know it well enough, but I like them a lot, so I think it deserves to be considered a classic album. So what I want to do, I'm not going to do it now because I'm too tired. So what I want you to do, I want you to write comments in the comment section, please. Which albums do you think you should have in this competition? And if they correlate with other records downstairs on the shelf, I'll include them as well. And we'll have a classic off between two random albums, and we'll have a good discussion with myself. Okay. Wel, diolch am wrando. Hoffwn ni siarad mwy o Gymraeg I chi, ond rydw i'n parchu y siaradwyr di-Gymraeg. I respect the non-Welsh speakers by speaking English. But one day we'll make an album, a video full of Welsh classics, which of course I will speak Welsh in and translate accordingly. Diolch yn fawr, sleep well, goodbye.